As always, we try to look out for you in the morning with tips on how to protect yourself and your home.
All right, and right now we're talking tips to protect your pipes. You know it is downright freezing. It is what Kristen said, and a lot of people could be waking up with a big problem on their hands. News 13's David Romero is live out in the KRQE kitchen. So, David, what's the best way to prevent this from happening to you?
Well, Matt, preventative tips altogether are going to help you. And of course, we told you last half hour about how leaving the faucet at a trickle is going to help keep the pipes from freezing. There's also another problem or method that you can use to protect it altogether. And of course, that's making sure that the furnace is in good working shape. The idea behind that is keeping the house at a good temperature and of course, nowhere near freezing. Now, that's also bringing to mind one of the other tips we mentioned earlier, which is leaving the doors to the cabinet open under the sink where the pipes are located. That's especially important if these pipes are against a wall that backs up to an outer wall.
Check your filters, make sure your filters are clean, make sure you have good airflow. Number one cause of a heater failing is a clogged filter. Heater fails, house freezes, pipes freeze.
And of course, as always, if you have those outdoor spigots, you want to make sure that those are covered as well. Many of the home improvement stores around town have the covers that you can put on and install easily yourself. Matt, back to you.
Great advice this morning, David. Thank you very much for that. If you want a checklist to see what you can do to protect your home, you can head to our website, krqe.com. Look for this story under the morning link. Well, who do you want to be in charge of your kids' schools here in Albuquerque? You can now decide and vote early to see who you want on APS's school board. A total of 10 people are running for 4 different seats on the board. That includes one famous face, Breaking Bad actor Stephen Michael Quesada. Right here, he'll most likely get elected because there's no one running against him for the new district on the west side. You can also vote early for C&M's governing board. The election is technically on February 5th. You can vote early through the 1st of the month. Find out where and when. Head to krqe.com. Just look under news links. Well, just one more day until state legislators get back to work at the Roundhouse, and about a third of them are new to the job. They and everyone else all going to have their work cut out for them, with Democrats controlling the legislature, facing off with the governor for the 3rd year in a row now. Once again, Governor Susana Martinez will try to get the law that allows illegal immigrants to have driver's licenses thrown out. She also wants 3rd graders who can't read well to repeat that grade. Besides those issues, legislators and the governor have to agree on a budget for this year for the state that's worth about $6 billion. We'll be at the Roundhouse tomorrow. We'll keep you updated throughout the session that is set to go for the next 60 days. Well, $110 million. That is how much money Albuquerque's mayor wants for you to approve for city's projects now.
You know, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's actually the smallest request in the last 14 years. Typically, the city puts about $160 million in projects on the ballot for things like maintenance to the biopark, city parks and community centers, and renovations to police stations and roads. It's less this year because the city is using more money from property taxes to help pay for all of that.
The only way, if we were to go with a higher amount, then we'd have to look at a mill levy increase and raising the property taxes. We do not want to do that in this economic climate.
City Councilor Ken Sanchez says the drop in property value certainly has not helped much.
New Mexico's U.S. Senator Tom Udall is supposed to be in Albuquerque today talking tech jobs and healthcare. He's going to meet with BibBite.cc. That's the only disaster and data recovery business that's owned by women here in New Mexico. The new senator is heading to UNM School of Medicine to learn about what is called Project ECHO, or the Extension for Community Healthcare Outcomes. It helps doctors in rural parts of the state learn more about treating heart disease, diabetes, and more. All right, remember that Sunland Park election saga from last year? You're going to hear more about it now. It's not over just yet because the man who was elected to be mayor, and it's at the center of a scandal, is set to go on trial starting today. Daniel Salinas facing nearly 3 dozen charges here after investigators say he set up a lap dance for another candidate, recorded it, and used it as blackmail, or tried to. Sunland Park's old city manager, Jaime Aguilera, is also connected to this case and pled guilty last month to extortion and tampering with evidence charges.
The trial of the man dubbed the alleged Arroyo molester is expected to continue tomorrow. Janero Sandoval is on trial this week for the alleged rape of an 11-year-old boy 10 years ago. Police say they have DNA evidence that connects Sandoval in this case. Testimony was heard last week about how Sandoval allegedly lured his victim under a bridge where he raped him. The trial is expected to go on for about another few weeks. A Santa Fe police officer accused of sexually assaulting a DWI suspect is now off the force. Santa Fe's police chief has asked him to resign. Now the police department says Whomever replaces Carlos Salazar will have to go through a tougher background check. They say what happened with Salazar should never happen in the first place. You may remember that Salazar was hired by the Santa Fe Police Department after he was forced to resign from the state police force. He resigned from state police when he was accused of sexually assaulting a DWI suspect. The Santa Fe police chief says he wasn't aware of Salazar's past and says the department now wants to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
I can say that we will exercise every effort and exercise due diligence in terms of hiring. And if in fact we have employees slip through the cracks, then we will correct them.
The Law Enforcement Academy is expected to finalize Salazar's suspension in April.
And this just in for you this morning. That problem on I-25 northbound, lead and coal, all cleared up. No worries right there.